Hey, it's Dave from Yooper Recipes Facebook group. Thanks for dialing in for another one of my recipes. Quick question for you. What's the best part of a trip to Red Lobster? The delicious crab legs? No. The amazing lobster? All you can eat shrimp? No. You know what I'm thinking, because you're thinking the same thing. It's the Cheddar Bay Biscuits. And that's what we're gonna make today. My knockoff Red Lobster Cheddar Bay Biscuit recipe. Let's get started. Let's preheat to about 400 degrees and get that puppy rocking. So, now let's talk ingredients for today's Red Lobster Cheddar Bay Biscuit knockoff. No particular order, right? Sharp cheddar cheese. Ooh, I love cheddar. Baking powder. Not to be confused with baking soda. Katie, my wife. Regular all-purpose flour. Buttermilk. Granulated garlic is what I'm gonna use. The recipe calls for garlic powder, but I feel like granulated garlic is A, very similar, and B, just a little more garlicky. So I like to use that. Also, garlic salt. Okay? What else? Parchment paper to line your baking sheet. Regular salted butter. And that's it. It's only 7 total food ingredients, so we're not gonna break the bank making this. And it's super easy with a prep time of about 30 minutes or less, including the bake time. Pretty much anyone can make it. Time to mix the dry ingredients. First thing we're gonna start off with is 2 cups of regular all-purpose flour. Then we will add in our garlic salt and baking powder. I'm gonna show you a little trick you probably already know, but I didn't know until my mom, God rest her soul, showed me how to do this when I was a kid. When measuring out baking powder, you want it to be even, right? So you're not gonna use a tablespoonful like this. You're gonna use this little guy right here to level it off. And it's hard for me to show you on my phone, but I'm gonna do my best. There, look at that. Perfectly level. 1 tablespoon of baking powder. All we gotta do here is whisk it all together so it's thoroughly mixed before we add in the next ingredients. Look at that. Whisked up. Perfect. Next up, 1/2 cup of butter. And I'm gonna chop this up into small cubes. Now, if you've ever baked before, I'm sure you know that when making any kind of like crust or what have you, you want your butter to be cold, right? That makes the crust or whatever you're making like crispy or flaky. It's probably the right term. Now, my grandma Carmen Barbier used to make the best, and I'm not joking. You probably would argue, but I think she made the best pasty and pie crust. And she told me that when you are using the butter for that, she put it in the freezer for about 20 minutes or so before cutting it up and putting it into the flour mixture. So that would make it super cold. Sounds pretty smart. And that's what I did here. Just chop the rest of this up into small cubes. And then we'll put it into the flour. Butter's all cubed up, and into this flour mixture it's gonna go. So I'm just gonna throw it in like this. And I apologize for any shaky camera movements. I'm by myself today, so I have to hold the camera and do the work, I guess, all by myself. But I kind of like it when no one's around and I'm making stuff because I don't get interrupted. I don't know about you, but if I got a bunch of kids home and everybody else and I'm trying to whip up something, more often than not, I get distracted and I forget to do something. There we go. I had a stubborn piece of butter. All right, then we just want to kind of mix this in all together, the butter and the flour and the garlic salt and the baking powder. I'm just gonna mix it all up. I'm gonna use 2 hands though. And till it's all thoroughly incorporated and it's a little bit crumbly. All the butter is mixed in and it's kind of crumbly. And I think that means, like, you know, you can kind of squeeze it and make some crumbles. You can see the butter is mixed in well. What do we add next? Our friend, 1 cup of buttermilk. And I'm gonna stir this all together and make a dough. All right. The less you work this dough and stir, the more fluffy your biscuit's gonna be. So let's do that. Got my trusty wooden spoon. And again, I'm by myself, so I am gonna just step away for a second and mix this all together. So what do you think? Do you follow a recipe precisely, or do you put your own spin on it? Me, depending on what the ingredient is, I might go a little bit over. Like this ingredient. Cheddar cheese. I have all my dough mixed, and it's supposed to have 3/4 of a cup of cheese folded in to the dough. But I accidentally, on purpose, might have put in a full cup, like a packed cup. I'm gonna fold this in and then I'll show you what it looks like as soon as I get it ready. And it's done. That literally takes about 30 seconds or less. Super simple, very easy. Just fold it in and make sure that cheese is mixed all the way throughout the dough. Next up, it's time to make the biscuit balls. Is that what you call them? The biscuit dough balls? I don't know. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I'm not great at it, and I probably won't even be able to really show you very well how I'm doing it because I only have 1 hand to hold the camera and make the dough balls. Or biscuit balls? I don't know. You'll see what I mean. I got the parchment paper lined baking sheet and the dough is ready. I'm gonna try and do it with 1 hand. You want about 1/4 of a cup size per biscuit, according to the recipe. And to me, that seems about right. I don't work it too hard. I'm gonna put them about 2 inches apart. It'll all melt together while they're baking. These are probably not going to all be the same size, especially because I'm only trying to do it with 1 hand. But I'm doing my best. Yeah. So there you go. Just making these 1/4 cup size balls and putting them a couple inches apart on the cooking sheet. Okay, now be aware this was supposed to make a dozen, and I got 10 1/4. But, you know, my mom always used to tell me when I was younger, you're rolling the meatballs too big, son. But I'd say, is there any such thing as too big a meatballs? Or too big a dang biscuit? Nah, these things are not too big, and they're just fine, just the way they are. And I don't care what anybody says about it. Oven's all set now at 400, and we're just gonna open up the old oven and pop them in. Yeah, I'm so excited. All right, let's set the timer on this bad boy. 15 minutes is what we're gonna start off with. 15 to 18 minutes is the time recommended. We'll check them at 15 minutes. While we're waiting for those biscuits to bake, Let's start preparing the butter topping. And to me, it's next to the cheese. This is one of the most important parts of the whole thing, right? Don't skimp. If margarine's all you got, use that. Or as my grandma used to call it, oleo. I like to go with straight up real butter, right? That makes it taste the best. Now, the recipe, again, I'm gonna go off script, right? The recipe gonna call for 2 tablespoons of butter. Not enough for me. So I'm gonna go with 4. Let's cut that up. All right, 1/4 cup of butter is all cut up. Now you're saying to yourself, there's 5 pats in there. So what? This is where your garlic powder comes in. Okay? You want, there's a measurement, a specific measurement, but let's just forget it and just add to taste, okay? I'm Italian, so I like me a lot of garlic. And this granulated garlic here is super strong and super powerful. So that's a lot, but it's gonna be worth it. And butter into the old microwave. And when it's all done, we'll just stir it up. 15 minutes is up. Let's check on, turn that guy off, drive me nuts. And let's check on our little friends down here. Bit of heat. All right, you see my little guy? He's just about right, starting to brown. But these suckers need a little bit longer. And you can see they're getting close. But we want those tops to brown up nice. Because they were a little bit bigger than they were supposed to be, instead of 3 minutes longer, like to bring it up to the 18 minutes, I went with 4 minutes. But I'm definitely gonna check them though right at the 3-minute mark, because that's what the recipe calls for. If they're not quite ready, we'll just leave them in a little bit longer till they're browned up perfect. We're at 3 minutes. Let's take a look. Ooh, so close. Yet that 1 extra minute is all we're gonna go. My favorite sound, time's up. And why did they ever turn that dang thing up? We know that this is gonna be just right. I got my trusty, oh my God, turn this guy off. There we go. I got my, hello, can't wait to eat biscuits. Silicone glove. I think my wife got these from QVC. I love them. They're also fun for puppets. Anyway, that being said, look at these guys. Oh yeah, this is just how we want them. Yeah, perfect. The butter I melted in the old microwave. Got that set here. And stir it around. You can see that garlic in there. Get yourself one of these. If you don't have one, they have them at GFS in Marquette or anywhere, any restaurant supply store. You can get them at online, Amazon. Good Lord. You can just, use a clean new paintbrush. All right. The old butter on top. Garlic butter. Now I want to show you, look at how much is left of this, right? I did more than the recipe calls for, but that's for a reason. I like a lot of butter. And I don't want to be left with none. These are just the right size too. Look at it, it's pretty much all used up. And I skimped on a couple of these. And I went with more than was asked. There's a little bit left, so I'm gonna kind of dust some of these other ones just with a little bit more. Okay. Now, for me, I'm also gonna throw on a little, grab it up here, salt. Okay, and that's it. Let's look at this guy. A little dark on the bottom. Look at the inside. Fluffy. Delicious. Looks great, right? I think so too. I'm extremely pumped to try one of these bad boys. You can add, some people will add dried parsley on the top, but I don't love dried parsley, so I'm not. Let's take a look. How did this turn out? Oh yeah. See the steam coming off of those bad boys? They're light, they're fluffy, the cheddar is baked throughout. The extra cheddar, right? Remember I told you? Can't get better than these. Well, that's it. That's my recipe for my fake rip-off Red Lobster Cheddar Bay Biscuits. And good Lord, they're good. Check out our Yooper Recipes Facebook group. If you're not a member, obviously it costs nothing. So just log in and click to join. And you can find tons and tons of other recipes from other Yoopers and friends and family of Yoopers, from people right here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, or former Yoopers even from all around the country who've got recipes that they want to submit. One of these days coming soon, I'm gonna pick one or two of the recipes that people have submitted in the group, and we're gonna make them right here, and I'll show you how to make their recipe. It could be good, it could be bad. Just depends on. If it's something I've never made before, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm gonna try it, we'll try it. So go ahead, join the Yooper Recipes Facebook group and submit as many recipes as you'd like. And tune back here to the Yooper Recipes YouTube channel and watch more of our recipe videos. Please like and subscribe. Hit the, I always thought I'm never gonna be one of these people. Hit the notification bell to remind you when we have new recipe videos. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's eat!